Hi there. Tonight's 5 minutes short story ideas, writing prompts. Uh, what is this? Tips and hints. Anyway, it's a thing. We've done the commute, we've done your home life, and that kind of leaves from the things that you definitely know that would make short story writing ideas. That leaves any interest and hobbies you have, including writing. So, writing itself, there's writer's block, which is a problem. So, no need to sort of try to turn it into a problem, but ways to overcome. And Google, for one thing, is a good way to look for that specific subject. But you've got libraries when they're open, and the books in your collection. If you are a writer, then it's to be presumed that you're a reader. You could look at the kinds of books you have and think about the lives of the writers who wrote those sort of things that you enjoy reading. A lot of them lead non-dramatic lives in the way that Lowry the painter did. Very humdrum. Poet like T.S. Eliot, who was a post office clerk. You might want to think about fictionalizing a similar sort of life which leads that person to not necessarily become a writer but to indulge in some other form of creative venture. Other hobbies include sports activities and exercise and the locations where they take place. There's been a heck of a lot of stories written about the Olympics and obviously about the various kinds of activities that involve balls, such as tennis and American football and football, cricket. So there are those activities. And then there's the city or town in which you live. How could that lend itself to short story material? What history does it have? How was it founded? How did the ancestors live? Is there any kind of memorial to that in the form of perhaps museums, working museums? For example, Iron Bridge, that you could delve as the source of fiction. An example springs to mind. In Ironbridge, there is a mock-up of a doctor's house from the time that the Iron Bridge was founded, and there's a little waiting room there, and the reading material indicates that people used to have a kind of a club before the NHS. You had to pay into a club if you wanted medical attention. If you didn't, then you were very much casting yourself on the mercy of well, generosity and charity. And the other thing as well was that until very recently there was no treatment, cure, vaccination or otherwise for tremendous amount of illnesses that we take for granted today as being minor. Case in point is a cold. If you read Jane Austen, I think there are at least, Eliza Bennet's sister becomes ill with a cold, and they're worried about it turning into either scarlet fever or something really, really dangerous, just the common cold. And these things were not minor in those days. We take this very much for granted. So that in itself is something to consider if you are of the kind that you like doing period histories. It could be part of the background if you want to do historical things, but it could also be science fiction. Simply because we've got immunity against such things on Earth doesn't mean that on other planets we would be immune from them. There can be big problems again, and we might not have access to the resources to make medicines. Okay, so we've looked basically today at your city and its history and your hobbies as places you could think of to delve for short story ideas. Again, always with an eye of playing what if and turning things around and asking how could that aspect of it cause a problem for my protagonist. Okay, see you again tomorrow.